Oh my God, guys, Hallmark's really stepped in it. Do you know that there's a Hallmark channel? Because I didn't until this weekend, but now everybody does, but it's not for good reasons. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this by now. A lot of different celebrities were tweeting about it. It's been mentioned on a few different places, but Hallmark channel was in a little bit of hot water this weekend surrounding some ads that they were playing. So Zola, which is a wedding company, basically paid Hallmark to play 6 of their ads. 4 of those ads included same-sex relationships. Now, those completely average and not all inappropriate commercials were immediately protested by people who have far too much time on their hand, 1 million moms, who are just a horrible, horrible group of people that are acting under the guise of protecting their children from the degeneracy of the world, who are actually just huge degenerates themselves, just horrible people concerned about things that are just not remotely an issue. And by not remotely an issue, it almost always has to do with anything involving gay people. Now, they say they're against things like violence, vulgarity, and profanity, but the main thing that they list is immorality, which is influenced by a certain, book, but they seem less involved or less concerned with things like violence and vulgarity, or at least, what most people would assume is vulgar, and just way more concerned with people just consensually trying to live their lives. Like, just taking a look at their current homepage was Hotels.com is more interested in being risque than protecting our children's innocence. And we'll just have a look at that commercial right now.
Just get one of me looking off.
Look, she's on another vacation. Wow, so happy for you. Smiley face emoji.
Funny how the words you type don't reveal the jealousy you actually feel.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
How is she there and we're here?
Condoms.
That's the best commercial I've ever seen. Oh my God, they're mad at that? Holy shit, what is up your ass? On top of that, at the bottom, they have past successes such as Kit Kat commercial is now family friendly once again. Now I'm just interested in looking into what's going on with 1 million moms more so than what I was talking about. Okay, maybe we're just gonna go down this rabbit hole, but the main consensus was they complained, Hallmark pulled those ads and basically said this, we just don't want to include any kind of R-rated, suggestive, any kind of content. It's not because of who they are, it's in the fact that it's 2 women, it's just because we don't want the kissing, even though the other ads obviously had straight couples kissing and nothing was said about it. Obviously, there was such a huge backlash against the Hallmark channel, who really should watch their asses, because you know what? At this point, now that Netflix has such incredible bangers of the kind of knockoff Lifetime Hallmark type content that is just better quality, but just as cringy, amazing things like Let It Snow, The Night Before Christmas, Falling in Love. What do we even need the Hallmark channel for anyway? So they should probably be more careful. But either way, after the backlash, they reinstate the commercials, but Zola's like, you know what? Screw you guys. You're actually horrible because you pulled these in the first place. And now obviously 1 million moms is mad at them again because Hallmark's trying to backtrack. So that's where we are with 1 million moms, because I'm just so fascinated by what they are. Also, I would just like to throw in this televangelist quote from Frank Graham, who is official Twitter account for the president of Samaritan's Purse and Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, that says, "We can change the channel. That's what I'll do if I'm watching Hallmark Channel and an ad with gay people kissing comes on. My family and many, many others have appreciated their wholesome content, but the LGBTQ agenda bullies everyone, including them." For someone who seems against any kind of sexual act that wouldn't result in a child, you sure do seem to have something firmly shoved up your ass. Anyways, back to the moms. So 1 million moms is extremely offended by a recent Kit Kat commercial. What was oh my God, it's not page not found. So I can't find the commercial, but I guess it was just filled with inappropriate sexual innuendos, as well as the song Work It by Missy Elliott. Okay, so I looked into it. It's not even that there was any additional content. They're just mad at the song that was included in the commercial. Excuse me, what? It's a chocolate bar. Another success is Once Upon a Time has run out of time. So in this one, they're just talking about how Once Upon a Time has been canceled, and they're directly attributing it to the fact that they introduced a same-sex couple of 2 women. And they're specifically trying to say that ABC has distorted and twisted the storylines in these fables. Do they know what the original grimm fairy tales are and how messed up and horrible they are? Dude, I can't. I can't with these people. This whole website reads like a parody, but it's real. So it looks like they genuinely have problems with all sorts of stuff. Like they have a problem with the show Lucifer for pushing satanic values. They have issues with shows probably like Preacher, and looked like there was one called Impastor that ended up getting canceled. Not actually acknowledging the fact that a lot of these shows are just being canceled because people didn't like them. It has nothing to do with them putting up a shitstorm about them. Because there are so many extremely successful shows that lack all imagination of God and are just completely inappropriate that just thrive. But their top 3 current campaigns all have to do with the homosexual agenda. So they've got 2 things going on with Hallmark, because now they're mad because Hallmark said they're going to reinstate those ads. So they now have a new petition going, because the Hallmark Channel is now allowing itself to be influenced and bullied by the homosexual agenda, completely ignoring the fact that the only reason why they pulled those ads in the first place was because they were bullied and influenced by your agenda. And you actually have an agenda because you have a website that's literally pushing people towards ideologies. How is this not an agenda? All right, it is an agenda. It's just seen as the right agenda. Disney confirms gay couple in animated Star Wars Resistance. Let's see what their problem is here. Warning! Disney proudly admits there is a gay couple in the animated children's series Star Wars Resistance. While such news is not shocking coming from Disney, it is extremely disappointing, and the inclusion of a gay couple is completely unnecessary. You know, by that logic, the inclusion of any couple is completely unnecessary. There's just no reason to display any kind of romance in anything at all, especially if it's directed at children. Who cares? Keep those kids pure as long as possible. Also, Elsa's gay. Like, they don't have the guts to say it, but Elsa's so gay. Take that, 1 million moms. By choosing to abandon family-friendly entertainment, Disney's move towards more adult fare may ultimately prove to be a huge mistake.
Big mistake. Huge.
The Disney Channel is deliberately choosing to promote sinful adult content to children, while the entire Disney media empire is sacrificing children's innocence. 1 million moms disapproves and will continue to warn parents against Disney's liberal agenda. Whoo! Oh my god! Disney blindsides family with lesbian scene in Toy Story 4. Warning! I love that so many of these just start with warning! Like, there's literally ones where they're talking about like death and they don't start with a warning, but if there's anything potentially gay involved, you get warning!
Warning! Warning! Warning! Warning! Warning!
Phyllis!
Toy Story 4 has just hit cinemas, but one thing we did not expect to see was LGBTQ characters. No matter how insignificant to the overall story they were, Disney felt it was necessary to include them. Okay. This is probably one of my favorite things about these people, is because, like, if they were actually, like, important to the story, they'd be freaking out for completely different reasons. But just having them casually in the background, I haven't watched Toy Story 4. I'm trying to preserve my absolute adoration and love of Toy Story by mentally concluding with the third one. To me, Toy Story 3 is the end of Toy Story, and that's all there is to it. So I cannot attest to the scene in question. This is even news to me, and perhaps now I will support it for its daring use of background characters. But yeah, there is literally a background scene where there is a child being dropped off by 2 moms, and later the moms return to pick up the child, who gives them a hug. It's subtle in order to desensitize children, but it is obvious that the mother has 2 children they are parenting together. That's actually a really great way to introduce characters like that into more media, because it's actually a representation of a lot of people's realities now. There's probably a lot of people that are in schools at this very moment that have 2 moms or 2 dads, and that's going to be a normal thing going forward. And it's important for those kids to feel normal, because it's normal, Karen. Calm down. I can't believe that this is an actual group of people with funding and an agenda. They're so concerned about every other agenda, but they have the dumbest one of all. And again, it starts off with sign a petition stating that you will no longer trust Disney since their actions have veered away from family-friendly entertainment. Ah yes, the constantly family-friendly entertainment of Disney that certainly does not involve familial betrayals, parents getting shot, and the slew of other stuff that's prominently featured in all Disney movies and has been since forever. Literally forever. This whole website seems like a parody, and I hope you now understand why I completely veered off the original topic once I actually made it to the 1 million moms website. Good job, guys. You're doing bang up work here. I'm sure Jesus is really proud of you. Mattel recently announced its launch of a gender-inclusive doll line called Creatable World, now available online. Mattel's promised to make doll play more inclusive for all children, both boys and girls, and to promote the idea that all are welcome. The line is all about customization of hair, clothes, and accessories to fit whoever the child wants the doll to be. In doing so, Mattel has actually created a toy that glorifies gender inclusivity and ignores one's biological sex. So basically their issue with this doll is that they think it's actually going to somehow confuse and influence their child in some way, as if the doll has the power to do that. Like, kids just play with dolls, they do weird things. Like, their kids are already putting like crazy outfits on their Barbies and like chopping off their Barbie's hair and doing like whatever. You've already had Barbie and Ken and the swappable outfits. Kids were already doing that kind of stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's not confusing them. If you think your kid is so dumb that they're going to be influenced by the ability to just put random clothing on dolls, bring it back to Toy Story when he becomes Mrs. Nesbit. You know, Sid's sister seems fine to me. I'm yelling about a cartoon character. This is wild. Anyways, I feel like if they maybe just spent more time like being with their kids and not being so concerned about every little thing being the boogeyman, their kids would actually know if they spent more time with their children. Oh my God. I don't need the next generation of Karens being reared here. So as I was editing this video, I noticed that they really conveniently have this tab here called Submit Trash. If you see questionable material in the media, submit a report and we will take it from there. Absolutely deplorable content. It's you. So like their main successes have to do with like adult programming. Like, why are they campaigning to get something like Lucifer taken off the air when Lucifer isn't remotely aimed at children? Actually, most of the television shows that they're complaining about have nothing to do with children and isn't something that like a kid's gonna watch or go out of their way to watch and would even have the access to watch if they were being monitored and not up at weird hours. So yeah, that is gonna do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. I just thought that this was like way too funny. And yeah, so like Hallmark, you little bitches, and good job, because now like Zola has like 5 times as much marketing as they had before, and like the whole situation, obviously by the complaints and the pulling of the ads, you just directed the firestorm of attention at it, because that's always what happens. It's the Streisand effect. The more you try to conceal something, the more popular it gets, because otherwise no one would have known that any of this was happening. This is actually the best marketing that Zola ever could have hoped for, so good on them for just, they got this on lock now. But yeah, whole thing, absolutely ridiculous. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all later.